2025 may be the worst year of tag team wrestling. And I'm not just talking about WWE, I'm talking about across the board. And I'm going to start with New Japan first, and this is one of the reasons why I stopped watching New Japan. I tried to get back into it during January of this year, but after June, I just canceled the subscription. I was like, I'm done with this, and they don't have an actual tag team division. Like, it's just a bunch of random guys thrown together, or it's just a bunch of factions. The faction of the Bullet Club Faction War, that was a cool match. It was a 6-on-6 dog pound match or something like that. No DQ, all that chaos. It was a fun match, but neither one of those teams have tag team championships, and they're supposed to be the most dominant faction. But you have Callum Newton and Great O'Connor as the tag team champions, thrown together tag team just out of nowhere, and they hadn't even actually built up the tag team division. Like, they did good stuff with the mid card and with the world title scene, especially with in the IWGP world title scene with Hiroki Goto and Zack Sabre Jr. having a really fun feud so far. And the mid card looks decent. They don't really showcase the women like that, but the tag team division in New Japan, it's nothing there. And this is a company that focuses strictly on wrestling. They build most of their stuff through wrestling. Not a lot of segments, a lot of wrestling, and they still can't put together a good tag team division. Excuse me, because most of the matches, the matches are sometimes decent, sometimes not. That's gonna come with matches in general. But none of the tag teams really make sense. They're just thrown together, and then there could be two people from two different factions that's teaming up for really no purpose. That's never explained. So this probably. I tried to get back into New Japan, but this is one of the reasons why I couldn't. The tag team division is so bad. They don't have no actually established tag teams, and most of the people there are in factions anyways. Like Gabe Kidd, he's in a faction in New Japan, and then he's in AEW doing stuff with the Death Riders. So what sense is that making? He's a guy that's better on his own. He don't need to be in a faction or a tag team. Gabe Kidd is somebody that's better on his own. Like the match he had on January 6th with Kenny Omega. That was one of the best matches of that month. He need to get back to doing stuff like that. So that's much I got for New Japan. It's been pretty terrible over there. That tag team division is bad. I don't even know who the number one contenders are. They don't even have number one contenders matches. Like, it'll just be like a match, just be a random match that they'll just put together, and then the match happens for the championship. Now moving to AEW. The Hurt Syndicate have had a good tag team title reign, but it really could have been great if they had some actual stories. Like the Hurt Syndicate, their whole gimmick is the We Hurt People gimmick is basically once they beat a tag team, they disappear. It's no rematches. They disappear. They're off TV for a few weeks, then they come back. But it's hard to build actual stories like that because, okay, at All In, they got a match against Jet Speed and the Patriarchy in a triple threat tag team match. So is there actually going to be a story and a payoff to it, or does the team that lose just disappear? Like after the Outrunners lost, they were on TV for a few weeks, then they came back to feud with FTR. Even though is that the match that that was the match that MJF interfered in, but the Outrunners didn't say anything about that. Like, the Hurt Syndicate could have clean wins, but that was one of the wins they didn't get clean, and the Outrunners didn't say anything about that. That don't really make sense to me. Like, even if they get a rematch, they would have lost anyways. But it's crazy how MJF interfered in the match. He really didn't need to. Like, the Hurt Syndicate story is cool, but they don't have any actual tag team rivalries. Because all these rivalries are all these matches is just, a few weeks of build-up, then they have the match. Like, them and Jet Speed, they've had a solid build-up, then you just randomly throw in the Patriarchy, who has nothing to do with either of these teams. You put together a random triple threat match. You're supposed to put the triple threat tag team match together first before doing the triple threat match with just one person from each team, because that don't make sense. Because I don't see why you just throw the Patriarchy in it when they had none. They should be on All In, Christian Cage and Nick Wayne. Shout out Nick Wayne, because he looked great in that triple threat match. But you couldn't have Nick Wayne defend his Ring of Honor TV title or whatever he got right now. He could have did something like that. Like this. That match was really thrown together. I'm trying to see who. You still didn't run the Hurt Syndicate versus the Young Bucks. Still ain't did them versus FTR. And the Hurt Syndicate are tweeners. So even if it's a heel tag team, Like they still chanting "We hurt people." Like there's only heel team that gets cheered in AEW because they are tweeners. Like they're not full heels. Now with MJF being in the group, it makes them more heels. But without MJF, they were definitely tweeners. So you could have did them versus Young Bucks or them versus FTR. Like even your top tag teams aren't really doing. They're not even going after the championship. The Young Bucks haven't said anything about the tag team championships. FTR has been feuding with the Outrunners and said nothing about the tag team championships. So you had Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara compete for the Sons of Texas. They competed for the tag team championships, despite, and I think MJF interfered in that match, despite them being on Ring of Honor and already being champs over there. So what justified them getting a tag team match? They beat Crew, who actually should have got the shot, in my opinion, because Crew had some good momentum. I would have rather seen them in that match than Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes. Like they need to keep doing their thing in Ring of Honor. Like Crew and who was they feuding with? They didn't even follow. I don't think it was a payoff to that when it came down to Crew and what they was doing. It was Crew and Top Flight. I had to remember who, but Crew and Top Flight, they didn't even have a #1 contenders match when they already had a feud building. So, like AEW has good tag teams, but they aren't really doing anything with them. So that's what I'm really confused on, because you ain't having the Hurt Syndicate go against the best of the best. And like I thought this run would have been against them having feuds against the likes of the Young Bucks, against the likes of FTR. Even the Outrunners match, since they done been there for a while, it was cool, but it's like, you're not having them go against the top of the top. Like, let's just say they retain, and let's say Swerve and Ospreay lose at All In because of some shenanigans, and then maybe they go on a tag team title run. Like, they should pull the trigger on that match and have Swerve and Ospreay win. But this Hurt Syndicate run, like they've had good matches, and most of their matches have been bangers. I didn't like the one with the Outrunners, but it was cool that they got the shot. I'm just not a fan of the Outrunners. But I wish their run consisted of more feuds instead of just a few weeks of build up and a match. Like some of these you could have had multiple matches with. Like whoever loses in a triple threat tag team match that doesn't take the pin, I think you should run. Like if Jet Speed don't get, if neither one of them take the pin, then they should get their tag team match just straight up. Or if the Patriarchy don't take the pin and one of them don't take it, they should just get a shot straight up. And I don't get why Kip Sabian isn't in the match instead of Nick Wayne. But they're playing into the father-son thing, even though they actually aren't. But it's cool. TNA, the Nemeth brothers. Yeah, the Nemeth are the tag team champions, but Nick Nemeth came back and said nothing about his world title. He didn't say anything about the world championship until Trick won it. So that confuses me because Nick Nemeth, he just had one of his best years of his career in 2024 as the TNA World Champion. Then he loses it in January of 2025, leaves for a few weeks and says nothing about his championship. It don't make sense. Like the heel turn was perfect, but he couldn't have at least got another shot at his title. He wasn't mad that his brother challenged for the title for him for his rematch clause. That's stupid. And then the match was like 6 seconds. And then it's kind of been like First Class. They're getting a title shot, even though they haven't went after the tag team titles all year. AJ Francis has been going after single gold. He's been having feuds with singles wrestlers, with singles competitors. So I like First Class, but how do they get a title match when they haven't really done much in the tag team division? Their biggest tag team matches they've lost. Even the match they had on NXT, they lost. So then the Rascals and Hardys they've been consistently in the title picture this year, which that's cool, but I mean, even Jeff Hardy was competing for singles gold at one point, wasn't even focusing on the tag team championships. So it's like, if you have your tag team guy going after singles gold, then how do you build up the tag team division? Like, I don't like how they've been booking the tag team division. Now it's a fatal 4-way tag team match, but you aren't even acknowledging one of your top heel tag teams in the system. So I know they done lost twice already, so I get that they not getting another shot. But even the Great Hands, they just been, even if they got to do what they can for Mustafa Ali, like they could have at least got one shot at the tag team titles. The Northern Armory, them teaming up with Eric Young hasn't helped them. If anything, Eric Young's holding them back because they can't do nothing. Mustafa Ali was holding back the Great Hands until they had the matches. Both of those one-on-one matches Ali had against the Great Hands were great matches, and it showed that they could be, like, they can do their thing in singles competition. They're still better as a tag team, and I would like to see them get at least a shot at the tag titles. But if Mustafa Ali wants power, why is he not advocating for the Great Hands to get title shots? Now with Cedric Alexander being in the picture, if he takes them over, he should be advocating for them to get a tag team title shot. The Northern Army, like I said, Eric Young doesn't care about them. He just wants to control them. And I don't really get how that, works. And they turned on on Josh Alexander. So I'm like, what's really the Great Hands? Not the Great Hands. The Northern Army. What's their purpose now? They don't do anything. They're just lackeys for Eric Young. Like, this could be. They had a match against the Hardy Boys, but Eric Young was the most important piece of that because he got ejected from ringside, and they just took a loss. They couldn't have got a win in a heel way. It's not being booked real well. Like, you have your top tag teams, which is cool, but even your other tag teams who might not be on that level of the Rascals or the Hardys, like, you could at least do something with them. Then you didn't even acknowledge the fact that Ace Austin just left because his contract was up, and his tag team partner Chris Bay, who was still out with a neck injury, is still there. Like, you don't even acknowledge that. You couldn't just at least, you just said he was out with an injury and moved on from him. You could have at least said that his contract ran out and he just decided to leave, because TNA didn't report that at all. Then WWE, and this is especially bad in WWE because SmackDown's tag team division is so clearly better than Raw and NXT, but it's no balance at all. Like, on Raw, you have 3 tag teams, really. You got the Judgment Day, the New Day, and the War Raiders. The Creed Brothers, I guess. But then they barely let the Creed Brothers wrestle. The New Day didn't even defend. The New Day's problem with, the War Raiders' problem with Judgment Day is that they wasn't defending. The New Day problem with the War Raiders is that they wasn't defending. So the War Raiders beat the Judgment Day, the New Day beat the War Raiders, and now the Judgment Day got them back because of how bad this New Day heel turn was. And it's not on the New Day because they had some good segments, they did some good stuff, but you didn't give them matches. You didn't do the heel New Day versus face Usos. You didn't even reunite the Usos in time for them before they dropped the titles. Now the War Raiders and New Day are complaining backstage about getting a title shot. Like, y'all lost already. Move on. Insert somebody new. The Creed Brothers are just being goofies backstage, even when Chad Gable was there. So what is their purpose? Alpha Academy? Nobody takes them serious. Then you brought back New Catch Republic and they lost, which losing on your return is fine. But now that you don't have anything to follow that up, like, they can at least get a segment the following week or nothing. Like, so we're just not going to acknowledge the fact that they're there. So yeah, New Catch Republic just backstage and catering, doing nothing. At least Judgment Day got them back, so now Judgment Day got all the gold once again. And that was a really fun tag team match last week, I think, with the New Day and Judgment Day. Fun tag team match. The only way that Finn Balor's getting gold, so I'll take it. Then on NXT, you got Hank and Tank, and they don't even have no competition. Like, who was Hank and Tank feuding with right now? The Cullen? In what, 3 weeks? And what's been a build up of 3 weeks? Now they get a match on NXT? And I had a Cullen win that match. That match taking place tonight, if I'm not mistaken. But Hank and Tank, I mean, they cool, but they remind me of heavy machinery. But this tag team run just ain't been it, because they ain't really had nobody to go up against. Like, the build up to them getting the titles was fun, but they beat all the tag teams. So the Cullen wasn't one of those tag teams in those matches that they wanted to get up to that. But aside from them, who else is they gonna go up against? OTM. They lost to Dark State in a 6-man tag team match, and Dark State never got a match at the titles. They ain't even go after the titles. So how do you pin the tag team champions and not want a shot at the titles? That don't make sense to me. If Dark State wants to be dominant, they invade TNA. Why not give them the titles so they at least feel more powerful? They done got the NXT tag team championships since they done pinned Hank or Tank, whoever. Then they could have won them. They could have won on a dominant run. Could have invaded TNA took out Matt Cardona, but be standing tall with the NXT Tag Team Championships, then defending on NXT and TNA to show how dominant they is, take over both brands. It's simple. They should have capitalized on that so quickly, but if Hank and Tank win this match versus Cullen, who are they finna lose to? You have Josh Briggs and Yoshi Inamura both doing their own stuff. Like, they're both going after singles gold despite being tag team competitors in matches that they're obviously gonna lose. Like, Yoshi not finna beat Okafemi. And there's no way that's the match that you had to compete against All In. There's no way you had that. Then SmackDown tag team division, it's actually cool, but well, Elton Prince, I think he's injured now, so prayers up to him, because Pretty Deadly was gaining some good momentum. Los Garza was gaining great momentum, but then you demoted them to AAA and had to win the AAA Tag Team Championships. I think it's just not good enough to be on SmackDown and compete for the Tag Team Championships there. At least they feature them more now with the championships and let them walk around with it. So now they feel like the second most important tag team, but before that, you weren't doing anything with them. You was telling the story of Andrade potentially taking them over. So you had a story of Andrade and Santos fighting over another tag team. I'm glad they dropped that story, because what's the point of that? Like, what does that do for Andrade or Santos? How do you have power of a faction and you're not a champion? Or at least you're not either not a champion or not a manager. How are you supposed to have control over that faction? And then you got the Street Profits they've been cool. They've been doing good stuff with the tag titles. DIY, Motor City, like that triple threat tag team ladder match they had, that was super fun. Like, SmackDown tag team division is actually solid, but the Y6 that's coming back and randomly getting the title shot, and I'm not talking about the match on last week's SmackDown, I'm talking about before that, when they initially came back. So they didn't even beat the Street Profits. Like, for Axiom, they actually beat the Street Profits to get their title shot. The Y6 didn't beat the Street Profits in a match to get a title shot, and then it ended in a DQ, which was really stupid because, well, I didn't like the way that match was booked. Now, them going against the Y6 going up against one member from 4 different tag teams on SmackDown, it was a cool match, but they didn't pin either one of the champions to justify them getting a title match. Like, the concept is cool, but I would have preferred them pinning either Tez or Berto to at least get a title shot again. But it is what it is. But SmackDown, that's the only division that I really don't have any problems with. And then one more thing I forgot to mention with Raw, you have the Empire, which is Bronson Reed and which is Seth Rollins' group. But Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker are not tag team guys, so why are they in a faction? And Seth is Mr. Money in the Bank, so that just means they got to be tag team guys, because they can't. I mean, I guess they can be on both brands because they don't care about the brand split at all. But nah, you have 2 singles guys in a faction. Well, really 3, because Seth Rollins shouldn't be in a faction either. But 2025 may be the worst year of tag team wrestling, and I'm talking about across the board, not just WWE. I'm talking all 4 of the big companies. But let me know what y'all think. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you thought. And